Okay, students, thank you very much for joining the session. So let's do a strategy canvas as a summary so that we will be understanding what will be required in the examination day. So firstly, students, if you observe any organization, their first concern will be on revenue. Revenue means, students, in simple language, it is very easy. That is the income generating units we have to observe. So students, it's not so complicated here. So the first thing, if you observe, the revenue stream we only have is holiday packages. Correct, no students? We are only generating revenue through what, students? Holiday packages. That is very, very clear for the students. And if you observe, students, when coming into the customer segment, we have to understand the following. The first thing that we have to understand in the customer segment is, if I'm not mistaken, Westland customers only. Because if you observe, students, the base is Westland only. We are not providing service to any other countries. Correct, no, students? Because our home country is Westland and we effectively take people outside Westland. Agree, no, students, if I'm not mistaken. That is very clear. And then, students, we have the age group. We have the age group. And then, students, if I'm not mistaken, we have one more factor as well. That is, okay, after the age group, students, we have 60% of the children traveling. 60% of children were students traveling. Correct, no, students? Yes or no? So these are the main thing. And then, students, adult only versus family packages. Correct, no, students? If I'm not mistaken. And then, students, we have the Sky packages. And then, students, if I'm not mistaken, we have the other one, if I'm not mistaken, that is dynamic packages, if I'm not mistaken. So all these packages we effectively have at the moment. Now, students, coming to the sales channel. Now, if you observe, students, the sales channel, if you see, currently we have two sales channels. One is what, students? Online, which is effectively around 65%, I think. And the other one is offline. Once again, it is around 35%, I think. Correct, no, students? So these are the only sales channel we have. So one thing we have website and one thing we have retail outlets where the people can come also. So these are the sales channel currently we have. And coming into the custom activities, we have 3S. That is sea, sand, and sun, if I'm not mistaken. And then we give them charter flights. And also, students, accommodation. Correct, no, students? And then we also provide the customers with insurance. And then, if I'm not mistaken, the transfer services. And also, students, feedback. We collect the feedback and review also. So these are the custom activities we are doing at the moment. So are you clear with this basic structure, students? So these are the revenue. These are what, students? Revenue. That means these are the areas effectively there will be a profit for the organization. So I'll write down here, students. These are what, students? Revenue. These are revenue. I'll mention here, these are revenue structure. So green color. So what happens is, students, a strategy canvas should always make sure the green area is very positive. Because in case if the other side become powerful, your company will make a loss. Correct, no, students? Yes or no? Now, let's come to the next application. That is the cost structure. Now, the biggest problem with our organization is we have considered all the departments as cost center. So I'll give you aviation is a cost center. Correct, no students? Hotel is also a students. Cost center. Correct, no students? Yes or no? Aviation is a cost center. Hotel is also cost center. You are correct with that, no students. That is also clear. And then students, if I'm not mistaken, let's come to the next one. If I'm not mistaken, students, after aviation and the hotel, the next thing that I have to be very specific to your point understanding is customer experience, correct? Even that is also considered as a major cost center. And then students, head office. We have a huge head office, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have marketing. Then we have HR. Then we have IT. Then we have finance. So students, do you observe one thing? Our cost structure is huge. Correct me if I'm wrong, students. Yes or no? It's a huge cost structure. I have not gone for the sub-cost categorizing, but if you see, our overheads are very large. So there can be chances of ABC, ABM in the examination where you have to do cost transformation. Students, definitely, there are high-level chances of a cost transformation model coming in the examination. So just a kind request, students, if you can somewhat manage it, it will be really, really great on your point of view. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are fine with this cost structure we have? Because it's long, it's really, really long, students. Are you clear with what I'm saying? Yeah. So as a CEO, when there is off-peak season, it's very difficult, very difficult. Seasonal demand we are facing. Because students, when we are facing seasonal demand, the biggest challenge is, can we make these things variable? In that case, that is fine. But when these things are on a fixed cost basis, it's very difficult to handle those situations. I believe that it is very, very clear for you all at the moment. I believe that is clear. Now, students, moving to the key partners. Now, key partners, if you see, we have tour cover. Correct, no, students? Because tour cover is a key partner. I believe everyone is very, very clear with that. That is a key partner. And then students, if I'm not mistaken, WTL, they are not key partner, but they are, if I'm not mistaken, they are a key stakeholder. Correct, no, students? The Westlandian regulatory body for travel and tour license. So that is also the key partner, if I'm not mistaken. Then students, the hotel managers. Because our hotel managers, they don't treat them as a partner. There will be motivational issue questions. Be very, very careful because we don't give any incentives to them. Correct, no, students? Now, currently, our organization is traditional. I believe everyone is clear with that point of view. Hotel managers, then what about the pilots? Because if you see pilots, if I'm not mistaken. So these are the major factors that a student needs to keep in mind in the examination. So can I get a confirmation from your students, if I'm not mistaken? Are you fine with this point of view? And then now key resources. Now key resources, you have to ensure students that you have to know these things by mind. So I will ask you some questions. How many hotels we have, students? How many hotels we have? I think it is somewhere around 314. Correct me if I'm wrong, students. Do we have 314 hotels? If I'm not mistaken. How many resorts we have, students? Do we have something around 83 resorts, if I'm not mistaken? How many airports we are currently operating in, students? How many airports, if I'm not mistaken? How many destinations we are operating? And how many countries we are operating? Can you give me the statistics, students? Because you have to know these key resources very much. Because when there is a acquisition question, when there is a proposal, you have to evaluate these factors of our current stability. And then students, how many flights we have, students, if I'm not mistaken, how many flights we own. You have to ensure these things are properly managed and controlled. So can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students, if you are getting these point of view, students? Any questions, anything you like to ask, you can ask me. But can you quickly give me the data? How many airports we are operating currently in our region? I'm waiting for your data, students. I assume that you have the pre-seed material with you, or else I can take it for you all. So remember, in the examination, you have to remember all these things through your mind because it's very, very important. So we have 314 hotels, 83 resorts, and 97 fleets. Huh? We have 97 flights, if I'm not mistaken. And then students, in simple language, we have to observe the traveling also. If I'm not, we have 311 shops. So I'm going to write that down also. It's a key resource, students. Shops we own is 311. There are chances that we may close down our shops. Get that very clearly. We have 311 shops, 32 airports in Westland, 83 destination, 28 countries. So I'll write it down here, 32 airport, 83, if I'm not mistaken, 83 and 28 countries. Students, are you clear with this? Can I get a confirmation from your students? Because it is very essential that the students should be aware of all these things, because it's very, very critical that you are clear with all those things. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And exam day students, please relate these factors because it's very, very important. And then we have our staffs, that is a key resource. We have our website, that is a key resource. So these are the key resources we have at the moment. And then key activities, what we effectively do. In simple language, students, if I'm not mistaken, charter flights. Correct, no students, charter flights. And the number of accommodation, that means how many people can be accommodated in a charter flight is 210 passengers. So I'll write down here 210 passengers in a charter flight. That is very practical. And then students, after the charter flights, another key activities is integrated model. Integrated model means, students, that we are providing all in all. That is 4-in-1 service. That is one of the key activities. And then students, the customer experience, we have a review system. What system we have, students? We have a review system. So we use our reps, if I'm not mistaken. So practically speaking, these are really, really good things to consider. So we have a high risk business, students. The reason why I say we have a high risk is you itself can feel it, right? The reason is our cost structure is uncontrollable because we are exposed to seasonal demand. So our cost structure is very much uncontrollable. So risk is there, but we have survived for a long period of time. Example, in case if there is an economic recession, students, I don't think people will be able to afford these things. Are you understanding what I'm saying there, students? In case there is an economic recession, do you believe that the people will be able to achieve these things? Are you getting what I'm saying, students? Yes or no? Can I get a confirmation from your students if you're getting this point of view? Are you clear with that? So the value proposition we have in this case, the differentiation is ownership of hotels. Because students, Mango's asks, do they have their own hotels? No, students. If you see, the good thing is we have ownership of hotel. And in case if the hotel services are poor, that means it's a poor reputation from our side. Because students understand it very well, your examination, there will be a definite trigger based on the hotel service quality. Then you have to remember Mango's Airways, where they do not own any hotels, but they are somewhat finding the best hotel. So we have ownership of hotel as a value proposition, but this is not a key value proposition, but I can say ownership of flights. We have our own flights. Correct, no students? That is also one more thing. Hotel ownership of flight. And then students, our business is focusing on customer experiences. Are you understanding those point of view, students? Ownership of flight, ownership of hotel, customer experience also. Can you get that point of view very, very well, students? Are you understanding what I'm saying there? ownership of hotel, ownership of flight, customer experience. And then students, just to make sure even it is clearer for you, a variety of destination, because that is also one more thing, students, because we have 83 destination. Agree or not agree, students? Yes or no? 83 destination, whatever said and that is a bigger number. And then we have something called value for money. That is one more value proposition we have. And the other thing is, students, we are from 1970s, correct, no, students? So when you use the term since 1970s, once again, there is a huge value factor there. So students, can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are clear with this current structure of our business? Can I get a confirmation from you all if you are clear with this current structure? Excellent. Now, this is the entire summary of your pre-seen material in one page. Again, understand it very well, students. This is the entire summary of your pre-seen material in one page. Now, students, if I'm not mistaken, let's move forward more in detail. Once again, I'm repeating, students, let's move forward more in detail to think about the predictions. Now, my point of view, because again, it's a disclaimer, that means my questions, my analysis may not be 100% perfect in the examination, but still I have the ability to make sure that is fine for you all also. Now, if I am not mistaken, students, just to give you a clarity, what I will say is, students, in simple language, it's not so complicated. Now, we can separate. In the examination, what we can do, students, is very simple. We can separate the services. Can you remember we discussed an area called transfer pricing, autonomy? Can you remember the term I told you, students? Autonomy. Currently, does our divisions have autonomy? No. So we can sell hotels services as a separate component. And we can also sell the flight services as a separate component. Correct me if I'm wrong, students. Yes or no? And also we can go for tailored packages. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes or no, students? And then, students, if I'm not mistaken, we can also go for dynamic packages. Correct, no, students? Yes or no? Are you understanding what I'm saying there? And also, students, just to be precise, anytime there can be a diversification. So you have to sometimes use your common sense on the examination. And then, children, I just want to even go more in depth to give you the ideology of how the things works. So hotel services, flight services, tailored packages, dynamic packages, diversification. And then, students, can you remember value addition? Example, students, seat space or the leg space. Can you remember, students? Can we generate revenue from that? Food, can we give launch facilities? Can you give customers launch facilities? Possible or not possible, students? Yes or no? High level chances, right? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? If you are clear with these analytical aspects of revenue stream. Can I get a confirmation from you all if you are clear with this analytical point of view of revenue stream? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much, students. Now, anything can come anytime. And one more revenue stream is international customers. Now, we are only currently sending the local customers. So in the examination, high potential of international customers also. Now, customer segment, we can go, if I'm not mistaken, business customers. That means hotel. Now, big corporations, they may send people on holiday. And I can say, if I'm not mistaken, they have something called family tour. So many things are there. Business customer. And then after business customer, we can go to international customers. We can go to what, students? International customer. One is business customers. Then we have international customers as well. And the other thing, students, if I'm not mistaken, can we just think even more better to get the understanding clearly? So another customer segment that we can effectively have is students. I can generally say niche market. We can effectively go for niche market, like not sea, sand, anything other than that. So these are the point of view. So one is online, one is offline, other one is website. So that is internally, these sales channels are within us. So what we can do is we can increase the referrals. We can make sure students like vloggers, you may be knowing in YouTube, you will be seeing something called loggers. Have you heard that? So vloggers. Vloggers are the people who travel and they post pictures, ideas around the world. Are you clear with that? So referral bloggers can be a part of that. Scheduled airlines can also promote us, correct now students, scheduled airlines. That is one more channel. And then students, regulatory body. Students now, every country may have their regulatory body. So like example, students, WTL, they have to give us license. They can also promote us that we are risk-free. Because can you remember students, there was situation they were explaining, there is high chances of bankruptcy. So that is one more point. Now students, if you observe custom activities, 3S, sea, sand, sun, charter flights, accommodation, insurance, transfer, and feedback. These are the custom activities. Now, what we can effectively do is relationship marketing. So one more thing we can do is for students, relationship marketing. There can be chances of data analytics. So students, just make sure there are chances of data analytics, how to use the data to improve the relationship marketing. Example, we are generally giving them birthday messages. Are you clear with that, students? Birthday messages, all those things. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are understanding these custom activities, relationship marketing, data analytics, and worst case scenario, we can give cruise services. Have you heard about cruise services, students? Cruise services means instead of taking people through aeroplane, we can take through them a ship where they can see the neighboring borders of the ocean. Can I get a confirmation from you all there, students? So these are like the way you have to think as a finance manager. So these are the potentials. These are what, students? These are the potentials that can come in the examination. Now, students, I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward into the cost structure now. If you see here, now the cost structure, there can be changes. Now, this can end up as profit center. There are responsibility center chances. This can end up as what, students? Profit center. Remember that, students. And then, students, there are situations of outsourcing. There can be situation of what, students? Outsourcing. There can be situation of partnering. You understand what I'm saying, students? So these things can come. There are situations like example of automation. Now there are chances of automation. Now you see most of the things are day by day becoming automated. Are you understanding that point of view, students? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? So these are the cost structure, and there can be a major shift in the cost structure. I believe everyone is very clear, because responsibility center is a guaranteed question, students. Guaranteed question. Thank you. Now, students, key partner to cover. Now, example, we can change. Correct, no, students? We can change them. Possibilities are there. Agree, no, students? Chances are there. We can change. And now, hotel manager pilot. So, what we can do is change the remuneration packages. Change what, students? Remuneration packages. Change the remuneration packages. Are you understanding that point of view, students? I believe everyone got that clearly. Any questions you like to ask, you can ask. So it can also shift step by step. And these hotels, for example, we can increase. Correct, no, students? What we can do, we can increase, or what we can do, students, we can minus it. What we can do, we can, what, students? Decrease. Increase and what, students? Decrease. Now, resort, airport, destination, countries, flights, shops, staff, website, all these things are there. And another thing is, students, data. We are not using data as a big resource until now. It can be also part of that in the future. So I believe that everyone is clear with this point of view at the moment. And then chart of likes, all these things are there. But as I told you students, we can develop digital apps. We can develop for students digital apps as well. And then we can have bots to provide suggestions. So many things can come into the picture. So these are the digitalization point of view. So whatever the proposal comes, you have to ensure that you are able to provide the answers properly. So that is what matters at the end of the day. So students, any questions you like to ask, you can ask me regarding the strategy canvas. If you are fine with the strategy canvas, then we can go to the other section as well. But I just want to make sure that as students, are you comfortable with the strategy canvas, what we have done? So just remember, on the exam day, you are a finance manager, and how are you going to respond to the business plays a critical role. I think everyone is fine with that. Now, students, next thing. So next thing I'm coming is what is the examination strategy. Now, if you go to the examination, students, always have understanding within yourself that you are a finance manager. So I'll write down here, students, on exam day. So I'll write down a heading as on exam day. Now, definitely, I including myself, even if you do 100 exams, first 5 minutes will be panic. Correct, no, students? First 5 minutes, you may feel it panic. Agree or not, students? First 5 minutes feels more panicked. First 5 minutes feels more, what, students? Panicked. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box? Yes or no? Because in this first 5 minutes, if you calm, you pass. If you calm, you pass. Now, technically interviews. Now, let's assume you are an extremely high professional, but still when you go for an interview, you will have that. This is natural panic. This is something human thing. We can't change it. Natural. If you can calm, you pass. The calming strategy I generally say is I use mint, like Polo, you may be like Polo, Mentos, something like that. I just keep it in my mind and I just chew that. So what happens is when I'm chewing that, it effectively changes my pressure. My pressure is suppressed into the chewing gum. So effectively what happens is I become calm. You get what I'm saying. I'm becoming calm. That is one thing. Or the other thing that I can do is just let it go. Now, this also is a very, very good strategy. And I think since majority in our class has come to a point in life, they have seen everything, college life, everything. You know, the art of life at the end of the day is just letting go. Correct or not correct, student? Just write. Just let it go. So I'm just writing here, let it go or let it go. So let it go, students. Don't think too much anything. Just let it go. And just come to your point of view that I am in the situation. Focus on the current. Then once you calm down and once you think, just relax. Just observe the way your breathing patterns. Just let it go, students. Just tell yourself, what is the worst thing that happened to me? The only thing that can happen to me is I can fail the exam, but that's nothing, right? It's good for me because I'm getting more exposure, I'm getting more knowledge because passing first time without any hard work, without any effort is also not good, right? You may not know the value of that. So students, in examination, there are 3 ways of writing. I'm repeating that again. Level 1, level 2, and what, students? Level 3. Now in CIMA, majority students go for level 1. Level 1 students, it's like your advanced level. You just write what and why. That means you write a model and add the name of the company. Add the name of the company. That's very poor. Because now ChatGPT will do your work if you do that. That means you are replaceable. Correct, no, students? So never ever do this in the examination. Just write target costing is this, good for happy well. Just write ABC, good for happy well. Are you understanding that? Are you understanding that, students? So please avoid What and what, students? Why? Are you clear? Can I get a confirmation from you? Because never ever do that in the red color section. Never ever. Never ever. Then students, the next one is you just write what and a why, and you need to make sure that the impacts. So in the future, you have to also mention this sentence. You always remember in the examination to use the term called what, students? In the future, because considering the changes in the medium term, long term. So you are effectively forecasting what and why to something that can happen. So this section is a very dangerous section, but still chances of passing is high. This section is a dangerous section, but chances of passing is high. So I will give it as the orange color light, like in the signal lights. Now in the signal lights, you may be aware there is orange color or amber they call. So don't go for red color, no marks. Your answer will be stopped. It's on a stop stage. If it is and the amber color, that means your answer is going to go to the passing, but still not going to the passing. And then students, you have to come to the next hierarchy. What and why? The impacts. You need to think about the future. Impacts are always on what, students? Future. And use a sentence, for example, and create a situation. You got what I'm saying? For example, the shareholders may not like it. For example, don't use real life. For example, or I can say another term. For instance, let's assume. Can you understand what I'm saying? So this is the green color. This is the green color. So students, I believe that everyone understood what you have to do in the examination. You have to make sure that you are in the green color light. Don't go for the red color. Your answer will not be moving here and there. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you understood that level 1, 2, and 3? Level 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. Now, students, I want to come to the next one so that even it will be more clearer for you to understand it even better. The next one is never look at the clock. Never look at the clock. What will happen? Can I remember I told you in the first one, 5 minutes anyway, including the best person in the world will have this 5 minutes panic. Never look at the clock because the panic will increase. Correct me if I'm wrong, students. You have to come to that point of view. Never look at the clock. And always remember answer plan. What did I understand? What did I, students, understand? Keep your answers more engaged in workings, and then you write the answer separately. And remember, when you are starting an answer, please be kind enough to give a basic overview. Don't write, we started in 1970. No, overview means what you are going to write in a summary. And then you mention the part A section like this, and then you continue. Or you can write down the heading of part A, because there will be a trigger on part A. Write the answer. And then students, again part B. Write a heading, answer. And that is how you have to write it. But whenever you are writing, never go for the red color section. Never ever go for the red color section. And what to do during this day? What to do during these days? Very simple. Past papers. I have already uploaded past papers. analysis. That means read answers and questions. Read questions and answers. Questions and answers. Are you understanding what I'm saying, students? Read questions and answers. Read what, students? Questions and answers. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are clear with this point of view? Students, now this is very, very important. And then my personal point of view, keep your mind very clean and calm, ethical perspective. Don't involve with unnecessary chat with anyone. If you get a message from anyone, just put it into the archive. There is a section called archive and keep it for some time, and then you can respond to them later. No unnecessary messages. No too much research. Don't do too much research. Now your mind should be on the case study. So you can play the game I have suggested. It will keep you in the loop. You can play it unlimited time. So it will keep you in the loop. Don't do too much of research. And then effectively, students, maintain the confidentiality. Just don't talk to anyone. Just keep it to yourself. Because you tell someone, including myself, don't tell. The reason is if you tell it to someone, they'll say, I wrote a different answer, and they'll tell something different. So the good work, what you have done is negatively getting influenced. And sometimes you would have done very well. But because you think negatively, your answers are going out of the scope. That means the marking structure. So remember this very, very well. And do the exams perfectly. I'm telling you, students, do the exam perfectly as much as possible. And definitely you will be able to pass this examination without any issues, students. Again, I am confident. You also need to be confident. And remember, it's an examination. If you find it like a piece of cake, that means something wrong. But if you still find it like a herbal soup, very difficult to digest, you will always feel that is good for you. Because when the questions are feeling tough, your concentration will be very, very high. And remember the organization structure, the business model of us, these are very, very critical. And effectively, you will do very, very well. And technical analysis. Now, when we did some mathematical questions, everyone is excellent in analyzing the numbers. But the non-financial factors area, you are not doing well. The reason is online class, I can assume. But still, students, on the examination, you don't have any excuse for that. So how you can do is keep your mind very calm, students. The mind calmness and concentration has a positive relationship. Because if your mind is very calm, your focus also will be very high. If your mind is having a lot of disturbance, your focus will be very less. So students, I have a strategy that I always follow. As human beings, we naturally judge people through our mind. That we can't stop, students, that nature. And when it comes through our tongue, then we will end up as a bad person. We will say that this person is too much judging other person. But even that, you can prevent it from the mind very easily. Now, I always have a very rough voice. Even you all would have had a rough voice during anger. You just shouted. You know your voice, the angry voice you may have. That angry voice, I keep it inside my mind. And let's assume I see a person. He's not looking great. My mind will say a hypothetical situation, just a assumption. My mind will say this person. Then I will quickly shout it in my mind, stop, stop. That is that serious, and stop that. That thought I will internally in my mind, the stop word will come. Stop. Change the focus and I'll deliberately move from one place to another. So always tell yourself to stop the thoughts, because when you are able to stop your unnecessary thoughts by using your own commands, effectively it will change you. Because if you are addicted to mobile phones, you will understand you will be checking for notification. Your mind is isolated. Your hand is going here and there. That means effectively, subconsciously, the addiction has come. But in the examination day, whenever you feel negative, when I see stop, that angry voice should tell stop, restart, start from the dot. Effectively, you will do very, very well. So students, I'll go to the one-to-one questions. I'll start in the alphabetical order. Mr. Asanka, any questions for the day?
No, sir. Thank you. It's all clear.
Thank you. Mr. Jose, any questions for the day?
No, sir. Thank you. All the
Thank
ways
you.
engage after so very real scenarios. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Gugu, any questions for the day?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is Mr. Kim. Any questions for the day? Mr. Linon, any questions for the day? Dr. Sharmin, any questions for the day?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I think just for the last time, I just wanted to just get a clarification on developing an answer for you to be a level 3. Maybe if you can do maybe just a minute in maybe a paragraph that will show how I'm moving.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. So I will just do a quick guidance on how the answers will come. So students, the model what I'm going to use now is I will use cost transformation model. Okay. So I'll use cost transformation model. Is designed, or I can say is emphasizing organizations to focus on transforming the cost and increasing the profits without affecting the quality and sustainability. Therefore, Happywell needs to follow cost transformation model. This is an example of level 1. Can I get a double Y in the chat box? This is very poor. A student who has only known what is Happywell will write like this. Unfortunately, MBA writing is like this. Correct now, doctor? If I'm not mistaken, yes or no? I'm not talking about the distinction MBA people. I'm talking about the majority lot who somewhat pass MBA. Correct no, doctor, if I'm not mistaken. So the majority lot will write like this, but still in a degree you will pass. I believe everyone got it. Now, the biggest misconception many degree holders have with CIMA is they think CIMA and degree is same because case studies. Case study, but this case study is different. So now I'm going to construct this sentence into level 2. Students, shall we work on the construction to level 2? Can I quickly get a confirmation from you all in the chat box, students? I believe I'm going for the level 2. Now let's move forward. Considering the cost structures at the moment, like aviation, and hotels, which are the main services, the cost transformation model will be very much rigid for Happywell. And there is high risk involved. Since there are many chances the quality may fall. This is level 2. This is what, students? Level 2. Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are clear with what is level 2? Can I get a confirmation? This is level 2. Now, instead of using the company's name, the student has somewhat made some application of the understanding of the cost structure. And effectively, the student has given some comments as well. So that is level 2. I believe everyone is very, very clear with that. Now, level 3. For example, the leg space in the charter flight can be reduced, but that may cause very much difficulty in a 5 hours journey. Where it will affect the customer satisfaction and experience. Therefore, we can make sure we transform the cost by reducing the retail outlets to online platforms with ease of accessibility. Therefore, from 65% online sales, we can progress to 70% and gradually upwards. Students, this is level 3. Are you understanding the process? Can I get a confirmation from you all in the chat box if you are clear with the level 1, level 2, and level 3? But my suggestion, never ever go for what, students? Level 1. Never ever go for what, students? Level 1. Now see here, the level 3 looks very spot on, but there are technical referencing as well. So this is that point. Thank you, Linon, for that question. And just coming back to the class, do you have any other questions? If you do not have, can I get a Y in the chat box, students? If you do not have any other questions, students, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Excellent, excellent, excellent. So all the best, students. Do very well in the examination. Don't panic. So thank you very much, students. I will see you in the after the results. All the best, students. Good luck. Thank you.